Hello again, back in the shop. Today I'm going to be actually doing two different projects. Well, the first one is I want to be able to go to different clubs and do a demonstration on open segments. Well, as you know, on my lathe, it's quite heavy, quite strong, but it's set up for just one lathe. The height is made for a 20-inch lathe, and the guide bar is made to fit my lathe. And when you go to a club, all the lathes are different. Different heights, different width between the lathes on the bed. So you can't just take one jig like this and make it work. So I have to come up with a different plan. And here's what I did. I come up with this piece of MDF, piece of aluminum angle on the edge, and then because my lathe has a 1 1/4 inch shaft for the banjo, which is really an oddball size, I went ahead and welded a shaft to a piece of steel and bolted it on. But if it works, I can buy flanges similar to this one, but professionally made, of course, in 3 different sizes. And then I can take a bolt and cut the head off different lengths. So I'll have enough lengths for any lathe, and I can get these in 3/4, 1 inch, and 5/8, which should cover almost any lathe. Not quite, but almost any. And then, of course, I could just mount 3 of them on here. I think I could get 3 on there if I take this off. Of course, this is just to check it out and see if it'll work or see how easy it'll work. I know it'll work. It's just going to be how easy or how hard it is to set it up. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. And while I'm doing that, let's get this out of the way. The real way to test it out is to actually make a turning. So what I'm going to do today is make a turning similar to one of the last ones I did. Somebody says they can't see my drawings very well. I guess the pencil lines just ain't dark enough. But I'm going to make another turning just like this with a straight angle coming up the side. A solid base on the bottom, being as how the bottom's going to be small, and then a closed ring on the top. It's going to be 12 segments high, and each segment's going to be a 1/2 inch high. And because the angle stays the same, and of course the wall width stays the same, all the pieces will be the same size, except each ring will be larger naturally as I go out. So what I've done is cut up a bunch of stock 1/2 inch thick with smooth sides, smooth gluable sides on them. I got yellow heart, I've got some bloodwood, I got some paddock, and I've got some light colored maple. Then I've come up with a little bit different of a pattern. Let me see here, I draw many patterns on one piece of paper, so it's hard to distinguish. I'm going to be using this pattern right here. So the pattern's going to be just a little bit different than what I did last time. It's going to be different woods, of course. So first thing I got to do is make a solid base for it. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you know how I make a solid base. I put it in a coal jaws, I turn a mortise in it to fit my chuck, then I turn a ring around the edge to guide the bandsaw and cut it out. Now I'm looking for a 6-inch base, and it don't have to be exact 6-inch. I cut this 6 1/4 inch. I should have plenty of room to make a 6-inch base. So I'm going to go ahead and mount this up on the lathe, turn a mortise, turn the ring around it to get the bandsaw guide. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've got the mortise cut in it. I've got it bandsawed approximately round. I'm going to mount it in a chuck. I'm going to turn the outside till it is round. I'm going to dish out the center, then I'm going to turn the edge flat and sand it flat so it's ready to take on segments, just as I did in my other videos. Now, for this one, what I'm going to do to use this glue-up jig, after I get it turned roughly round, I said I'm shooting for a 6-inch, and I started with a 6 1/4 blank. So after I get it turned around, I'm going to make an actual measurement of what it really is at the time. And I'm going to use that measurement to set up the stop block for the first ring of segments. I'll get into that after I get it turned and get it set up. So I'm going to turn it right now. I've got it just rough turned round. I've got it dished a little bit. I'll dish it more later. I've got the edge turned flat, about 1 inch, I guess, on the edge. Now I'm going to chalk it and sand it to make sure it's perfectly flat. Just put some chalk on it, just like I always do. Now I'm going to take the sanding board, hold it up against it, till all the chalk's gone. Okay, the chalk's all gone. So, the next thing I'm going to do now on this one is to measure the actual diameter of it turned rough, which is 6 1/4 inches. And I'm going to use that to set up the stop block for the first rings of segments. So, time now to set up the gluing jig. I'm going to put it straight over the banjo, just eyeball straight, but straight over the banjo. Then I'm going to use the center point on the tailstock to get the top of it right at the center of the spindle. And I'm going to lock it down. Check to make sure the center point's right. It is. Okay, it's locked down. Now what I'm going to do is take this edge and line it up close to the center. I could probably find a way to line it up exactly on center, but that would be too much of a problem. Then I'm going to get it parallel to the face and about 1/16 inch away from the turning. Lock it down. Okay, now I got to figure where to set the stop block. I already know from looking at my diagram here that my first open segment ring is going to be 6 1/2 inches. So, that being said, I measured the base at 6 1/4 inches. And I want the first ring to be 6 1/2. So I'm 6 1/2 minus 6 1/4 is 1/4 inch. But now you got to remember it sticks off on both sides, so that would only be 1/8 inch on one side. So I want to set the stop block to 1/8 inch away from the edge of the base. So here we have it. 6 1/4 is the width of the base right now, or the diameter of the base. 6 1/2 inches is what I want for my first ring. So 6 1/2 minus 6 1/4 is 1/4 inch. But being as how 1/4 inch, being how it sticks out on both sides, we divide it by 2, I get an 1/8 inch. So I'm going to set up my stop block 1/8 inch away from the base. Let's go ahead. Stop block on this, as long as I'm just running test right now, I'm just using a piece of scrap material, not very thick, coming on their old spring clamp, and that'll serve as a stop block. It'll work quite well for this purpose. I can make a better stop block later for it if it works. Now I'm going to measure it 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Right there, 1/8 of an inch. Everything locked down. I should be able to glue on segments now and come up with a 6.5 inch ring. We'll find out after I glue them up. I want a 6.5 inch ring. I'm using 24 open segments. So 6.5 inch ring, 24 open segments is going to give me a cut length of 0.8557 and a cut angle of 7.5 degrees. So 0.855. Set my calipers up to 0.855. Right there. It's as close as these will read. Now I'll set up my table saw and I'll cut 24 segments. And let's see, I'm going to have to cut 4 of the bloodwood. I'm going to have to cut 4 of the Paduke, and then all the rest will be cut from yellow heart for this pattern. So I'm going to set it up and cut some segments. Be out of my mind. I'm looking at 24 closed segments. I want 24 open segments. So let's get 24 open segments instead of closed segments. Okay. 24 open segments at 6.5 is going to be 5.25 degrees cut angle. And the cut length is going to be 0.599. 0.6 should be close enough. So I'm going to head and set that up instead. I'm sorry about that. I got the segments cut, 24 of them. Got them lined up the way I want to glue them on. You know, one of the people that follow me says they have a hard time hearing what I say. And you know, that's funny, because if my wife says something, it comes out loud and clear, or my son or anybody else. But my voice, somehow, the camera never picks it up right. I've tried different microphones and everything. It's just my voice. And there ain't really much I can do to improve it. I had my throat cut once, and after that my voice changed, so it is a bit different. Anyway, I got them all lined up. We're going over the lathe and glue them on just like I normally do. A thin coat, a tight bound tube, very thin coat, and then clamp them for 10 seconds and rotate them. I'm using a 48 index wheel, and I've got every other index marked red and then the others marked blue. So it'll be red, blue, red, blue. And I'll glue these on with the red ones first. I could have used the blue, but I'll use the red ones first and glue them on. Being as how it's solid base, it don't make any difference where I start. So I'm going to set the camera up and go over there and glue a couple on. Let's glue a couple on just like I always do. Take the first one, put on a very light coat of tight bound tube. Get the coat too heavy, it's going to squeeze out, and that's what you don't want, is a lot of squeeze out to clean up. Put a light coat on, you don't get enough squeeze out to worry about it. Clean off my glue spreader. Hold it up against the stop block. Wow, the stop block moved on me. This is not good. I'll have to use 2 clamps on it. Reset the stop block. I got 2 clamps on it now. Let's see if that works a little better. Okay, let's hold it up here for 10 seconds. Okay. Go to the next index. And glue up the second one. See how that goes. Very light layer. Thin it out some. Really light layer. I got some on my finger, sticky. Okay, 10 seconds. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and glue up all the rest of them. When I get to the last one, instead of unlocking it and rotating it, I'm going to unlock it and then just move the jig away, because the first ring will be right underneath by that time. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of them on. The last segment in the ring, because it's the last segment, after I glue it on, I can't rotate this. The first segment is right underneath the lip here. So what I'm going to do is unlock the index wheel and then just move everything back out of the way. See if we can do that. Okay. Unlock it. Unlock this. It's out of the way. There it is. I guess that's the most difficult thing, is moving this out of the way. Lining it up wasn't that hard. Fact is, it was purely easy. Measuring the stop block wasn't that hard, but let's see how close we were. Now, if it might not be exactly 6 inches. Surprised me if it was exactly 6 inches. Put it across here. Nope. Yeah. It's about 6 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so knowing that, I'll know where to set the stop block for the next one. I'll figure that in when I set the stop block for the next ring. Of course, the next ring on this will be 7 inch. So measure from this as 6 1/16 rather than 6 and 9/16, just over the ½ inch. Let me get my numbers right. Yeah. Anyway, if I measure each one after I glue them on, then I won't get errors adding up. I can correct any errors that's on there. This much difference, no problem. All I got to do now is wait 15 minutes, chalk it, sand it, set it up, and glue the next ring on. It's been 15 minutes now. I've got them chalked. I'm going to sand them, make sure they're absolutely flat. Tiny bit of chalk left. Let's hit it one more time. Okay, it's sanded flat now. Now, I'm going to set the gluing jig back up. And it was so incredibly easier than I thought it would be. So it shouldn't be a problem. Get the end close to the center. Get it parallel, about a 1/16 of an inch away. Lock it down. Now all I got to do is set up the stop block. And again, like I said, I'm going to actually get a better measurement on this and then use the actual measurement to set the next ring. That way I won't be adding airs together from one ring to the next. So I'm going to go ahead, measure this, and I'm going to cut segments for the next ring, which will be a 7-inch ring. I got my stop block set up now at 7 inches. I can verify it by putting a ruler clear across. And 7 inches on this side over here is the same distance as the stop block is from this side. So it should come out right at 7 inches. And I used the actual measurement of this ring to set it up. So, make sure we're in the right spot where the first segment starts. Set it to the blue index mark, and I'm ready to glue up the next ring. Start with the first segment. Ten seconds. Move it out of the way. Go to the next index. And we'll continue a little bit of glue on there. See if I can get it off. Ready to go ahead and glue up the rest of the segments for this ring. In this particular turning, each ring is a 1/2 inch bigger than the ring before it. It's because it's on a straight line. That's the way they're worked out. So the first ring 6.5, second ring 7 inch, third ring, that's this ring, is 7.5 inch. Now it actually measures almost 7 5/8. So instead of putting the stop block a 1/4 inch out for the next ring, I'll put it about 3/16 out. And of course I'll measure that ring after I put it on. That'll be the 8-inch ring. So this is plenty close enough. It ain't as close as I get with my other gluing jig, but this should work out. We'll see. Well, this ring come out just at 8 inches, so I must be getting better, I guess. But like I said before, this is just a trial unit to see what it can do. So this ring here is pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and make some more rings and put them on. Measure each one as I go to figure out the stop block. So I'm going ahead and put on some more rings. I've got all the open segments on now. I've chalked it, sanded it flat, put them all on with that new gluing platform. And after using that new gluing platform, it works, and I can make it fit most any lathe. But we come up with another idea I got in the works, and if that works out, I'll be making a new video on yet another gluing platform, which is even easier to use and will fit any lathe. The fact is, we might have somebody manufacturing them, not me, and I won't get no money from it, believe me, but just make it available. Anyway, this is sounded. I made a 24 segment ring, 12.5 inch, turned it flat, and sanded it right on the coal jaws. Now I'm going to put a little glue on each segment, put this in the tailstock and bring it up and glue it on. After it dries about 15 minutes or so, I'll be ready to finish turning the turning. So yeah, I'm going to just put a little glue on each segment. I ain't going to put it on a ring this time, just on each segment, and bring it up so the joints on the closed segment ring fall right in the middle of one of these segments. I got the inside finished, turned, sanded, put finish on it. I got it between centers now, getting ready to turn the outside. I'm going to go ahead and just turn the outside. This piece of bloodwood here on the edge It's really been hard to turn. It's dulled my tools and dulled my tools, and I've never seen a piece of wood like that. So I hope it ain't that hard on the outside, but I'm sure it will be. I'll find out. I got the outside turned, sanded, and finished. I wanted to thin it just a little bit more, but this bloodwood was dulling my tools so bad that I decided this is enough right here. So I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to now reverse it, put it on the coal jaws, and turn the bottom. Then I'll be finished with this. I got it taped, reversed on the coal jaws. Got tailstock up between centers. Now the bottom had a crack in the wood right here. Small one, I knew about it when I started. So I'm going to have to turn it down below that. I got plenty of wood to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the bottom down, get it below that. Then I'll just finish the bottom off and we'll be done. Well, I got it finished. I don't much like the pattern after I got it finished. I could have used better woods, I think. The Paduk don't stand out enough from the bloodwood. And as I said before, that bloodwood's really hard to turn. It dulls my tools in a minute. Anyway, it's finished. And I built it with this device. A post on the bottom of a board with a piece of angled aluminum on it. It works. I built that with it. But to tell you the truth, I really don't like it. I'm going to scrap it out. The other day, Bill come over and we was talking about it. And we come up with a completely new idea, something that'd be much easier to use. And so I'll be working on that right now. I'm about to get it perfected here shortly. So I don't know if I'm going to do a video on that one or not. Probably show it one time. Anyway, I thank you for watching. I really appreciate the people that do watch and the ones that subscribe. I really appreciate. And thank you, and come back for my next video.